I think we'll get started. I've got a few more signing in right as we speak here. Good evening, folks. This is Mary C. Lanigan. I'm the director at the Michigan Parkinson Foundation. Thank you all for joining us on our Tuesday night virtual support group. Tonight, we have Amy Kaczmarek. Amy is a certified dementia trainer and consultant. She's based here in Royal Oak, Michigan, and we are delighted to have her speak tonight. What I'm going to do, Amy, is we always mute everyone so that we don't hear anybody's background noise.
Okay.
Once I mute everyone, I cannot unmute them, so you have to unmute yourself. So Amy, after I mute everyone, you are going to have to unmute yourself. And when do you want people to ask questions as you're going on, or do you want them to wait until the end?
I am open to questions periodically. Usually there's an obvious point where you'll know this is a good time because I'll ask you to do things. There's a lot of audience participation in what I do. So I will ask for you potentially to stand or even in the sitting position to do a few things. And if you have somebody with you that's able to interact and help you, that is great too. If not, we're just going to pretend I don't have somebody either. So we're just going to do our best.
Okay. All right. Okay. Well, it looks like everybody around muted themselves. So it looks like we're in good shape. So Amy, take it away.
Okay. Well, it's nice to be here this evening and thank you for this opportunity to speak with you. In deciding what the topic would be for this evening, I really wanted to think of what is a real common, something that we all work with every day and something that we would miss terribly if it was gone, and maybe something that we didn't realize people as they age with dementia and Parkinson's, that what is happening to them, and that is vision. Because when the first way we connect with anybody is we visualize them, we see them from across the room, we see them from over here, over there, we see them on a Zoom meeting, we see them everywhere nowadays. So I'm going to take you through a process today of how our vision changes as we age and how all forms of dementia are affected by that. Okay, so the first thing is, when we're 20 years old, and I don't know if we have any 20-year-olds with us to confirm my statement, we can stand up and put our arms out to the side. Nobody wants to do it with me? No one? No one? You put your arms out to the side, you wiggle your fingers, and you should be able to see your fingers wiggle. But as we age, we have to bring that in a little bit. And when you add dementia to the aging, we're going to bring it in even further. And it becomes our circle, our visual circle. So as we age, even if we are perfectly 100% healthy, by the time you hit 50, your circle has really come in, and you might notice that, oh wow, I tripped. I didn't see that. Because our circle has changed, and that's why so many people as they get older start walking like this. Because they realize they can't see the floor either. So we bring our circle. And anybody that wants to try to imagine this, because if you have somebody in your world that may be going through some of these visual changes, it would help you to understand where they're coming from. And our vision in front of us is our curiosity. So wherever we are curious, we look, we turn, we're interested, but our peripheral vision out here, this is our safety awareness. So that's the first to go, is our safety awareness. We're going to hold on to our curiosity for a long, long time, years into our 90s, with or without dementia. We're going to hold on to a lot of that curiosity. But we lose this peripheral vision that gives us our safety. And it's really important to understand that when you come into contact with somebody that may be going through some of this, of how you want to approach them and how you're going to interact with them. So if you can't see maybe the edges, and you're going to change your circle, we're going to approach somebody a little differently. So, for example, if you know that their vision is diminished, you may not come from behind them or right next to them. You might prefer to come from the front so that you're in their circle when you see them, right? Am I getting to a point where somebody has a question? Are you guys following I don't feel like anybody wants to do it with me. Nobody? Okay. So when you're 75 years old, healthy person has has lost 45 degrees. Healthy, 75. So if we take that same person that has dementia, their circle is going to be even smaller. And it's going to just keep getting smaller. And the way we talk about these things is by using our hands, is we call it a scuba vision. So again, let's have fun. Scuba vision. So when you put your hands over your eyes so that your thumbs are resting on your nose, you notice that you've lost quite a bit of the floor. You've lost your ceiling, maybe some things around you. And now you're going to turn quite a bit more to fill your curiosity. Your safety awareness circle sure has shrunk. So it blocks our top, it blocks our bottom. So if those of you that have somebody with you, you might like to try this. If you could sit across from somebody and have that person that's sitting put on their scuba, and if you get right down in front of them, all they can see is you. They can't see around you. They can't see above you. So it creates this feeling of I'm being attacked. This person is closing me in. This person is trapping me. But the person that can see fine, they don't have that problem because they can see all the way around. So they don't feel trapped. But they do, and that's why we want to kind of back up a little. And if you are able to do this with somebody and get that feel, it will help you quite a bit. So we call this, when we stand directly in front, we call it a confrontational stance, because the person that is living with Parkinson's or living with dementia or is advanced in age, they feel like you're attacking them. They feel like this is confrontational. So what we do is we just stand to the side. Sorry, you probably can't see I have a chair here. So you stand to the side of the person. And now this way you can still look at them. They can still see you, but your shoulder is out. So they don't feel like they're being attacked. They feel like they can move. They have this space. But we so often as care providers want to do this. And now we're totally taking up all their space. And now they're angry. And you don't understand why they're angry. Like, I just want to help you. But they are feeling enclosed or feeling attacked, like they don't have any room to move. So we really like to take the supportive stance of being to their side. And once you're to their side, they have that exit. As the disease progresses, they'll go from this scuba vision, and then we'll close our fingers so that our thumbs are over our middle finger, and we'll have what's called binocular vision. And once we have binocular vision, you'll notice a lot more things are missing from your safety area, right? So now we have task vision, and task is when we're looking down, or we have social. If you go back to your scuba vision, you'll be able to see that you actually could go from task, looking down at a plate or whatever you might be utilizing in front of you, an activity, to looking up, maybe playing cards. You can look up and down, but once it's advanced a little bit more and you go to that binocular vision, you can no longer look down or up. Now your whole head has to go. And as the brain needs to move from task vision to social and social to task, it gets very tired. It's a very difficult process for the brain to do this, and often it just doesn't want to. So you may notice if you're assisting somebody in a meal and another person is sitting across, that they talk to that person across and completely forget they were eating a meal, because the brain is just so tired. And so then you have to redirect, we're having a meal, and go back to it. So they stick with that mid-stage binocular vision like this, and we do the back and forth for a period of time, and then it goes down to what we call monocular vision. And this happens when the brain has lost so much of its ability to process information that it can no longer bring the two visions, one vision from each eye, flip it over, bring it back, go over each other to create the one vision. So the brain says, the heck with it. We're only gonna use one eye. I'm gonna make life simpler for myself. And they only see monocular. When you go down to monocular though, it's a whole new world, because we lose our depth perception in 9 out of 10 people. You know, well, no depth perception. But if everybody is sitting somewhere, maybe you have a desk or a table or something in front of you, you might try doing the monocular vision, closing your other eye, and reach for something further than arm's length from you, and try to figure out how far away that is from you. If you just reach for a pencil or your eyeglasses, anything, you kind of get an idea of that feeling, that that's what they are then experiencing. Do we want to open it up? Does anybody have a question so far? No questions?
Hang on, Amy. If you
I have a question.
yeah, you have to unmute yourself. Go ahead.
Okay, so is there any way that you can test for the different levels of vision?
With watching an individual, the monocular is probably the easiest one for you to notice, because they'll be reaching for something and won't quite be able to see the depth.
Okay.
The other way with the task and social would be try putting something down in front of them, like even just a plate of food. Are they noticing that it's there? Are you having to direct them to it? It's really observation. There's not like an eye test.
Okay, that's good to know, because I see those things with my husband and I'm thinking, are you just not looking at stuff, or what are you doing? But this explains it a lot.
So is your husband still self-feeding, or are you assisting?
Both.
Okay, is it the difference between a fork and finger food?
Doesn't matter.
Okay, so it's just like his mood or his moment in time that makes you assist or not assist?
He sort of wears out by the end of the time he's eating, and he can't finish it, or there'll still be food on the plate or in the bowl, and he doesn't even see that it's there.
Yeah, I wonder if sitting next to your person as opposed to across the table might help.
I usually am next to him.
You are?
Yeah.
Is there something across the table that might make it distract him? Because it sounds like he probably is in binocular vision, and he's either having his social vision or his task vision, and he may be, just what you said, tired, and his brain is no longer wanting to go back and forth.
Yeah, that could be. That's what I would think it probably is.
So there is this whole process of learning about the vision changes is to walk us into something called positive physical approach, of how to approach an individual that is having these vision changes. And then we go into something called hand under hand. And these are things that are very common with any form of dementia, Parkinson's included, because of the vision change being so strong, that we can, they just need a different type of connection, let's say.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Is there another question?
I do have a question. When driving, I've noticed in the last couple of years when I go over a bridge or around a curve, it's sort of like I get very nervous. Is that normal? I have Parkinson's. I don't have dementia yet. Hopefully, yeah.
Well, I think that a lot of people, I know somebody that's a young 31-year-old that gets very nervous over bridges. And to me, I think that is a common thing. As far as the vision change though, you might just, because you don't have dementia and you're able to care for yourself, you might just do the vision test on yourself kind of thing. Put something down in front of you on the table and look straight ahead. Can you see that?
I don't have a problem with that. It's sort of like when I'm driving. I don't know if it's just that I get anxious and then I don't know. I don't know if I'm having trouble staying in the lane or what, but it's not a problem unless I'm going over a bridge or around a curve, and then I get panicky and I don't know why.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm not sure that that's a question I can answer.
Okay.
It's not a visual thing.
All right, thanks.
That's okay. Does anybody else have a question so far? Okay. They started and whether or not it is strictly a Parkinson's related dementia, or is it dementia on its own. Alzheimer's moves the fastest, but it's like with anything, it depends on the person. Some people tend to stay in that scuba vision for the longest. That seems to be, and once it goes to binocular, I see that they move a little faster into monocular. But it just depends. The older they are with onset tends to be the faster that it progresses. Because they have age on against them working as well as the disease.
I have a question.
Yes?
I've noticed that I can go upstairs or an up escalator really well, but I balk at looking down a long set of stairs or a down escalator, so much so that I will find an elevator because I'm somehow frightened or anxious to go down. Is that related to the vision that you were describing?
It could be, without knowing more information, and I'm not an MD to answer some of that, but definitely if when you're looking down, you are seeing the bottom of the escalator, and I'm sorry, there's a train going by. I live in Royal Oak, lots of trains. So yes, if you're looking down and you're not seeing the first couple of steps that you're going to step on, but you're seeing the bottom of the escalator, I certainly could see that being be creating anxiety for sure.
Thank you.
Was there another question as well?
I was going to make a statement about going downstairs and escalators. I have progressive glasses, and that's always difficult because the progressive part is the reading part, and trying to see going down steps make it far more difficult. So I don't know if she has glasses that she's wearing or not.
Excellent point.
There's a question about, what about macular degeneration?
Macular degeneration is actually on its own issue and not related to what I'm talking about. I mean, obviously that is something that comes with people most likely of an older generation, but it's not directly connected to any form of dementia that I'm aware of.
Okay.
Is there any other questions?
No, I don't see any others in the chat box.
Okay, well, I'll take you to the next step then, if everybody's ready. If you have somebody that you do want to approach that is experiencing these visual changes, and I'm just going to pretend like there's somebody here in my chair. When I come to them, I'm going to avoid coming from behind the chair or directly to the side of the chair, but I want to come like 6-8 feet out from them and come in front of them so I'm in their public space. You know, we're all familiar that, you know, our public space is where we can see people, we're part of a crowd, where we're 6 feet apart, right? We're always in public space nowadays. But as then we get to know each other, we come into each other's personal space where we're within that 6 feet, maybe our hands can now touch. And then we have intimate space where we're allowed to touch one another. But we want to be welcomed into that intimate space before we actually touch. So when I'm going to approach somebody with this visual issue, I'm going to come up to them at least 6 feet apart. I'm going to bring my hands to my face so that they look at me. And then I can extend my hand to them and they'll follow my hand down. If I am a caregiver, I would keep my name badge on my right shoulder so that as they follow my hand, they can see the name badge and know who I am at the same time. I'm going to take their hand and then come to the side and be at their shoulder to their right or left, depending on what they are handed. So if the person is right-handed, I want to come to their right side. And if the person is left-handed, I want to come to their left side so that they are most comfortable using their dominant hand. So again, I'm going to come from a distance and extend my hand. I don't want to wave at them when I come up here because I don't really want to keep them focused up there. I want them to follow my hand. So I'm going to give them the hi, address them by their name. So if they're mom or dad, or if they're grandma, or they're Sally Joe or Jim Bob, I'm going to say, good evening, Dad. How are you today? So I've given them the time of day. I've told them that they're dad. And then I'll follow it up with, it's Amy. I've come to see you. So I've extended out. Hi, Dad. How are you today? It's Amy. I've come to see you. And I'm going to come to their side so that they have all the information. Because there's nothing worse than, hey, you know who I am? Yeah, let's not make them feel like they've lost it, right? We used to do that to my dad. My sister and I would call at the same time. We both sounded the same. Which one are we, Dad? He didn't like that very much. So it's just come to the side. And then we progress from there with a hand under hand motion, which is really a wonderful thing to be able to learn. And I'm sorry it's so difficult to learn it via video. But when you hold somebody's hand and you're like this, you're going to take their hand in a handshake and then kind of turn so it ends up looking like this. And I call them angel wings, because whoever's taking care of somebody living with Parkinson's and or dementia is an angel. And once you're in that position where you kind of are holding their thumb like this, and you're applying pressure to the palm. There's pressure points there that our seniors really like to feel. And it's especially in today's day with COVID and people keeping so separate, our senior population, I feel they get hit the worst because they lack that physical touch on a regular basis. And now it's even more so. So we apply some pressure to the palm. It feels good to them. They can grip onto your thumb. They're kind of gripping onto that big fatty part of the thumb. So even if they want to squeeze you with all their might, it doesn't hurt. And you can kind of give them that squeeze back, that they like that pressure. But once you're doing that, you can then take their hand and do anything you need. So the one lady talking about helping to feed her husband, once you're holding his hand like that, you can put a fork, a spoon, whatever you need in your hand. Take their hand with you down into the bowl, up and feed. So that their eye is following you. They're following you down to the bowl, coming up, they know now that you're going to bring food to their mouth. If we go back to that binocular vision and there's a bowl down there and all of a sudden somebody is jamming food in their mouth, what would you do? All of a sudden you had no idea food was coming at you and there's a fork coming to your mouth. You smack their hands, spit it out, purse your lips. I mean, what are you gonna do? So it's a down and up. They follow with their eyes so that they know what's happening. You rest your other hand on the edge of their shoulder, like this. And it closes the circuit so that their arm doesn't feel all spaghetti-like. It closes the circuit. You're holding. And once you have that down, you can really do anything. You can help them to undress by taking their hand with. You can help them to brush their hair. You can put on their glasses. We can remove dentures, brush their teeth, unbutton their shirt. Whatever you need to do. I have taught this to ER doctors so that they can do stitches, holding the person's hand with them. Is there questions about this? I know that's a kind of a lot of information very quickly, so.
Yeah, I have a question about this too, just like the last time.
Go right ahead, please.
Does it help to verbalize at the same time that you're doing the touch, or is that confusing?
It really depends on the advancement of the person. So the brain, if they're down to binocular or monocular vision, I'm going to say probably not. Maybe to talk to them prior, because it's kind of like, I don't know if you've ever experienced this, you're walking along with your person, we're going to go to the dining room. So are you hungry for lunch? They stop walking, because they either can walk with you or they can talk to you.
Okay.
So they're either going to do the task that you're wanting of them, or they're going to talk to you. So maybe ahead of time, you could say, hey, Jim, we're going to have dinner now. I have for you, tell them what's on the plate, whatever discussion you like to have, and then go ahead and start. And be willing to break. If you want to talk to him, do you like it? Is it too hot? Would you like some pepper? Whatnot? Be prepared for them to stop eating, need to reallocate themselves to talking to you, and then go back to the task.
Okay.
Was there another question? No? I thought there was another. So that takes you through all of this. And normally what I would ask everybody to do is work with someone to be able to do this back and forth so that you can experience the hand hold. And it's really weird to do it to yourself, but you can, it's kind of like this. But to experience that handhold and to be able to work with somebody to continue giving them as much independence as possible so that you're not doing it to them, but with them. And that's something I really try to stress. Let's let people have as much dignity, as much independence, as much self-respect as humanly possible for as long as possible. I'm a firm believer in people being able to stay in their own homes, and I provide different types of care in order for that to happen. I help people and families understand their person. So if anybody has any questions, please feel free to ask. And if you want me to go and repeat any of these things or show it again, please feel free. And I will tell you also, we say to our caregivers, all the caregivers out there, to the spouses, to the friends, to the family members, please remember, one, to take care of yourself, because if you don't put your own mask on first, you can't help the person sitting next to you, right? But when the dementia gets this big, you need to remember to spend this much time with your person so you can continue to love them this much. Because you don't want your visit with them to only be about what's wrong. You want to remember to really appreciate the good moments. So if you have too many bad moments, you forget the good moments. So Take care of yourselves, and I'm happy to answer any other questions.
Okay, if you have a question, unmute yourself or you can type it in the chat box.
No. I gave so much information, there's no questions.
I have a question.
Go ahead.
Yep. Do you find that this is a topic that physicians routinely address when they're working with patients and families, or is this kind of more something that the family has to sort of seek out the information on their own?
Are you talking about the visual changes?
Yes.
I smile at that. I've spent many years as a patient advocate, and I've taken many patients diagnosed with various forms of dementia to the doctor. I've never once had a doctor ask about the visual changes, which is one of the reasons why I like to discuss it, because they don't even talk about it with the aging people. Never mind the dementia. They don't even tell you as you age to expect the possibility of these visual changes and why it is that at 50 something years old, all of a sudden I'm tripping a little bit more. Thankfully, I can catch myself at this age. At 80 or 85, we may no longer be able to catch ourselves, and that there goes the rotator cuff injuries and the hip falls and all of these things. So I wish doctors would discuss it more. I think a lot of the reasons why they don't is because they can't fix it. There is no drug, there's no nothing. It's just awareness. And now that you're aware, boy, you can be dangerous with all the knowledge you can take with you. Any other questions?
Yeah, I keep thinking of more and more stuff to ask you. So my husband also has double vision, particularly when he reads, and needs prisms, which they can't always make for him because it's so severe. How does that play into the types of things that you're talking about? Or does it?
I'm not so sure that it does. I think that's a different issue with the optics that are going on in his head. It's not necessarily a dementia issue.
Oh, double vision is unfortunately, it's a common problem or symptom of Parkinson's, but not necessarily related to dementia. So,
No, I realize it's not related
okay.
to dementia. I just
But
wondered
some
if
of
there
these
was
things
some
that
sort
we're
of connection.
using might still be able to help you though, or help him, or help you help him.
Okay.
Do you
Go ahead.
do you ever train like caregivers that are going into homes on how they should approach some of these people?
All the time.
Hmm.
That is what I do. I train in, well, pre-COVID, of course. I trained in many adult or retirement assisted livings, those types of communities. I've also trained ER doctors over at Beaumont, first responders, plenty of RNs and LPNs. I do private family ones as well, where I just do small family groups, which is more common now with the COVID, that we just do a small group of 4 or 5 direct family members that know that they're okay with each other and go from there. And it is much easier, obviously, in person to learn some of these things when you can interact and understand the whole picture, especially the hand under hand, which is really such an important one, because as people's illnesses progress and they live with more difficulties, you being able to guide them and provide that support is really a phenomenal thing.
Would you like for me to share your slides now?
Absolutely. And there is the hand under hand and the positive approach in those slides with kind of some descriptions.
Um, okay. You want me to advance it?
Yeah, so this is what I was saying in the beginning, that the most powerful sensory input that we have as humans is our vision. And of course, once you're living with dementia and that vision changes, it is a very powerful thing to that person with the loss. Again, not touching somebody until they can see that you're there. Touching them before that they know can create fear in them, anxiety. They could, try to hit you or hurt you or touch you inappropriately. So always coming from the front, at least 6 feet away, so that they don't feel like you're in that attack mode, crowding their field. Always in the hand underhand is just going to go with that. This is just to give you an idea of how dementia attacks the brain. And the circle part is your vision center, obviously, and you can see that this is the same age person, one with dementia, one without. This brain is 75 years old, I believe, and you can just tell that the vision area the whole brain is obviously much, much smaller. And I make the joke, you hate to joke about it, but if our heads shrunk like our brains did, people would be so much more aware of the disease and so much more aware of what was happening with us, and maybe be a little bit more conscious and respectful of somebody living with these changes. This is the positive physical approach in very basic directions on how to do so. Staying in the public space, greeting them with the hand to the face so that they can follow you down, offering your hand while you're making eye contact with them. You always want to approach slowly and stay in their vision range so that they don't feel like you're coming to attack them. Handshake is something I have a 2-year-old running around my house on a regular basis. He already knows how to shake somebody's hand. We start shaking hands at a very young age. It is one of the last things that we will lose in dementia. So it comes so naturally for them to put their hand out and shake your hand, and it's a great way to interact with somebody. And as you shake their hand, easily come to their side, coming down to eye level to respect their intimate space, and waiting for them to acknowledge you, letting you in is always first. If they don't let you in, then you just stay put that 6 feet out. This is what I was saying earlier about giving them the information. Nobody likes to be made to feel stupid or that they don't know. They always want, hi, hey, Dad, it's Amy. Good morning. How are you today? Giving them some information, engaging them with, wow, I love that shirt you're wearing, or did you get a haircut? You look great today. Something of that nature to engage them, but always telling them who you are. I have heard people say crazy things to their person. Hey, do you know who I am? Or who's that over there? And I just say, why? Give them the information that they need so that they feel supported and good about being wherever it is they are at that moment. Hand under hand is what I was talking about with the angel wings earlier. It allows you to do all kinds of things with them. You can feed, hair, bathe, brush the teeth, take their hand with you. Just please remember to take their dominant hand with you. They will be much more at ease, even if you're a little uncomfortable. I am left-handed. I'm always doing it right-handed. I've had to learn that because most of the world is right-handed. And it allows you to do with them, not to them, giving them a much more comfortable feeling and maintaining that eye-hand skill, allowing them to connect it gives them a good feeling too. So these are different ways to use it. offering a sense of control even when you're doing almost everything for them. It gives them that feel, again, that it goes back to the respect and dignity and giving them as much independence as humanly possible while you're helping to guide them through and encourage them to maybe eat or bathe or brush their teeth, or even just to sit and watch TV. And this hand under hand, honestly, it goes into great depth with assisting in walking, sitting down, getting up, just to keep them moving. Sometimes people, they can't start moving. We use hand under hand for all of these things. It's a great technique to know.
Let's see. There we go. There, you're back. Okay, do we have any other questions? Well,
Could you show
this,
hand over hand again?
go ahead.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. Can you speak a little bit louder?
I'm practicing my voice.
Okay.
Yes, can you show the hand over hand again? Thank you.
Sure. So it's hand under hand, which the person providing the support would have their hand underneath the other person. And granted, usually we're right to right hand, and I'm doing it backwards with left to left hand, left to right hand. So you're going to grip them, and it's backwards, but around their thumb area, so that when you squeeze, you're squeezing each other's thumbs and bottom of the palm, so that it's the pressure points that are coming together. It's really best to do it with somebody that other than yourself, anybody else. Anybody else. So if you do this, and then you're going to turn the hand, and basically you'll know when you're doing it right, because you will be able to, using your pointer and your thumb, be able to put a pencil or a fork there and take it with you. But it is hard to show. We've been working with each other trying to figure out how to turn our own hands upside down to try and do it, but it just doesn't really work all that great. But hand to them, it's kind of like a natural, when you go to shake somebody's hand, you just kind of stop right there. But when you're going to do the hand under hand, you'll twist your hand while you go to their side, and your hand naturally kind of goes into this position, leaving your pointer and your thumb out while holding their hand, so that you can put a fork or a pen. Even artwork, if anybody has an artist in their midst and they're missing that ability to hold a paintbrush or a pencil, same thing. Hold their hand and bring it up to the canvas and let them do their thing. Whatever makes them happy.
Okay, do we have any other suggestion or any other questions? Does anybody have any questions for me regarding the Parkinson Foundation, Michigan Parkinson Foundation? Okay. Well, Amy, I want to thank you. I think we all learned quite a bit tonight. I'm very, very grateful for your time. Thank you all for tuning in, and we will end this session. Tomorrow is Wednesday at 10 a.m. We have yoga on Zoom. Our regular exercise class is at 10 o'clock tomorrow morning, and we have yoga. So we hope you will join us. Thursday afternoon at 1 o'clock, we have a social worker counselor discussing managing anxiety and depression. All this information is listed on our website. So I bid you all a good evening here in the Metro Detroit area. It is a beautiful evening, and I think it's the last one that we have for a while. So go sit out on your back porches and enjoy the evening. All right, good night all. Amy, thanks so much. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
You're very welcome.
Thank you.
All right, I'm going to sign off and end the meeting.